but they are. So chat, what up?
Pizza.
Luckily, I was asking chat, not the voice.
But I'm in chat.
Speaking of great ideas, I found a 3D model of a very chubby alligator. Yes.
Did you add wings to it?
Oh. Oh yeah. It would be.
But what about 3D printing a chunky dragon?
Sure, I can find that.
Alrighty, I'm gonna hop out for a little bit.
Goodbye forever.
Who was that?
I wonder why. No, I did not.
It was a really good show.
What I've heard. kind of sauce is it? Marinara? Or pesto, maybe? Nice. As long as it's not Alfredo. Goodbye forever. You.
Hello. How's it going, guys? Let me reboot my bot here again. Torag, thank you for the 53. Appreciate it, my man. Just waiting on the bot to reboot and then we'll be good. Didn't take much longer. There it is. Okay. All right, let's get this party started. Hello, everybody. Again, I hope you guys are doing good today. Here is today's artwork. Do me a favor, go give the artist some love. As always. That's Bob's word, perhaps. Rex, thank you for the resub. Thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate it. And yeah, we're just kind of, again, still in the holding pattern on both servers a little bit, as we've talked about. There is a new event that has been teased on JP. We do have a pre-campaign for it, though, this week. So it's not like it's coming out right this second. We basically are going to have a pre-campaign, and we're probably going to get it on like 13th or the 14th, somewhere in there, because the JP live stream is the 13th. So I would assume it's probably going to be one of those deals where it happens like right after the live stream. That's usually what they pull on us, but they have been known to throw us for a loop every now and then, so we'll see. But that is really the only news on JP. I'm going to run over here and make a blue apple real fast just so I'm not sitting on cap. And we'll go touch NA. Bob the Builder confirmed, yeah. I was talking with Trubs about the possibilities for that servant. He was doing his usual big brain deep dive into who it could be. There's a lot of theories. I was also talking with Avalon about it, but I don't know. Like, it's interesting to me because I think the big questions are going to be like, is this event a lotto? Is this the missing silhouette servant and that sort of stuff? And I think it will be the missing silhouette servant. I don't know whether or not it'll be a lotto. I think the signs indicate that it's probably not, but that's not like conclusive and determinant at the moment. Again, I have everything done on NA that I can possibly do, so we're just going to go into Trom, which is quite literally the only thing that I can do. We're going to go farm some more Reichenbach. Ray, thank you for the 57. How you been? Cad, did you see the FGO Atrocious Gacha review? I did not. I also don't give a fuck because none of the reviews for FGO have been positive. And yet FGO is an extremely, like, prolific game. So to me, it tells me that the reviewers are almost always like missing something. They just don't seem to understand or grasp what makes FGO special. And it just makes me go like, yeah, it is what it is. I don't care. What am I doing? Oh, right. I need a Rura. Grab Avalon's there. It sounds baity AF. Yeah. That's nice saber art, indeed. It's probably not a lotto, but it could be, yeah. It's like, I'm never going to just conclusively say it's not a lotto, right? Like, because we don't know until we know more specifics. But we'll go over it here in a second. I'll pull open the JP News Bulletin and take a look at it. Actually, if someone would be awesome for me and grab me the link real fast, that'll save me some time. Hello, Yugi. How's it going? Gonna have to catch the Vase, no problem. But yeah, no, I in general, I don't consume other content creators' content, right? And that's just because I never really want to be influenced by it in that regard. Like, it doesn't mean I don't watch other content creators. I do. I just usually don't watch other people making stuff about FGO. And most of the quote-unquote I reviewed a gacha people are people that play the game for like a handful of months and then think they know everything about the game. And I can safely say that unless they were somebody that like, you know, dived into like my new player guide or like found Atlas Academy and started tapping into those people, like in a few months of playing the game, you're just not going to know everything there is to know about the game. Furthermore, you're not really going to understand the actual like content pacing. Because, like, let's say you were to play the game for 3 months. In that time, you might see 3 events. You also might not. And the interesting part about that is that, like, you'll not get to experience what makes FGO truly magical, which is its story, unless you sit down and you actually read the entire story. But usually these reviewers don't have the time or the patience to do that, so they don't actually bother to sit there and read it all, and they, like, either skim it or skip it. And then they have negative viewpoints on the game overall because they find the gameplay, I don't know, like repetitive or again, like stale and old and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that is what it is. Which you guys know I've talked about this many times on the channel. Turn-based combat is not stale or old. If people find it boring, it's usually because they lack the intellectual capacity to actually be able to understand it. If anything, whenever I go to play another turn-based game, I am probably more likely to find it overwhelming depending on the complexity of the system. There are certainly like easy turn-based systems that are out there, but there's also plenty of times where you'll go into like, say, some new JRPG and it's got a whole litany of new mechanics that you've never seen before and you're kind of like overwhelmed by it rather than being like, oh, I just know what to do and immediately drop in. So yeah, I often feel like the people that sit there and think that FGO is like too simplistic or something like that, they're missing the forest for the trees and they don't actually, like, they haven't actually given FGO a chance. At least this guy played for 2.5 years. That's something. I'll give him that if that's the case. But yeah, no, I don't know. Chat, how would you guys feel if I made a review of FGO after all is said and done now? Like, seriously. Would I be qualified to talk about everything that FGO has to offer? That'd be cool. I'd watch it. And I certainly could, don't get me wrong. But the point that I'm trying to make in all of this is that, yeah, I'm probably one of the most qualified people to do something like that, right? But here's the issue. Is it an unbiased review? And can I possibly give an unbiased review? Once I've been playing the game long enough. I hate to say it, but it's impossible to give an unbiased review on a live service game. because either you've been playing the game for so damn long that you feel extremely strongly about it, or you haven't been playing the game long enough to actually have given it a proper chance. So you're naturally going to have some amount of bias there, and it's very likely to be polarizing. You just talk about FGO without the saber faces? Well, I can't do that, right? But I could certainly talk about everything that FGO has to offer and what its strong points are and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it would be nice for like players that are already playing the game to hear some positive stuff about the game. However, I would also nitpick it. You guys know that's just how I am. But at the same time, it's not necessarily going to be useful to other people. Why? Because it's going to be like confirmation bias, right? If you like FGO, you would like my review. If you don't like FGO, you're going to disagree with my review. And it's the same thing like when someone asks me, hey, Cad, have you seen X or Y thing? And I go, no. And then they're like, oh, well, you know, it was atrocious or it was bad or like they tore FGO a new one. And I'm like, go figure, right? Like, I can already just tell you I wouldn't like it because most of the time when I watch these things, I realize that there is some inherent bias, some sort of problem that the person has that other people might not have. And I think this is a very important thing that a lot of people don't get. Like, the difference between me and your average person, and one of the things I think that keeps me relatively grounded whenever I talk about the game, is that I know I have bias. And I know what the bias is in most cases. So I try to disclose it and like talk about the other side of that equation. So it can definitely be an issue for a lot of people because they're just not self-aware enough to be able to self-diagnose themselves like that. For instance, like I said, you guys know at this point in time, I am somebody that has strong feelings and opinions about the game. I naturally will. I've been playing the game for, God, what, like 8-7 years, something like that. But at the end of the day, if I've been playing the game that long, I'm going to feel strongly about certain aspects of the game. For instance, I've talked to you guys before about, like, man, they really need to pick up the pace with regards to buffing. That was the discussion of a lot of the stream last night. And we've talked about that numerous times, you know, over the past couple of years in general, that I don't feel like the devs are buffing enough. But I'm at least cognizant of, while I wish for them to do it more, and while it's better for game balance, and it would actually probably be better for them because it would help sales on their end, that it's also not the end of the world if they just don't. I think it's a troubling sign, but it's not like it's the final nail in the coffin if they don't do it. It's more like it's just yet another aspect of the game that the developers have kind of let languish over the years. And it's a problem. But problems can be solved either sooner or later. They don't have to be solved immediately right now just because I'm complaining about that. That's where I'm saying, like, I'm grounded in the sense that I'm well aware that my complaint is something that I both feel strongly about, but is also non-essential to the game's continuing ability to function and provide a service to its players. If they don't do it, it will provide a shittier and shittier service. But as long as they, you know, keep the lights on in effect, the game will still continue to function, right? Same thing with somebody that maybe feels strongly about like a particular game mode of the game. Like, for instance, if you really like farming or you really like challenge content, you have a bias there. And that may make you really dislike one of the other ones. And then you're going to sit there and you're going to complain about it. So, for instance, there's a lot of people that would say that the farming in FGO is terrible and that it's like one of the worst out of all gacha games. Am I still sitting here farming? Yep. To this day, I am still going into nodes over and over again trying to get materials. And oh, would you look at that? Nothing dropped. Oh my god, this game sucks. Why doesn't it drop me materials? That's one route you can take. You can sit there and you can complain about the fact that the game isn't giving you the thing that you want. But the reality is the end game of this game is farming. It is nothing else because the game is a collector game and all you really need to do is progress story. There is no other requirement. So as long as you get story done and are caught up, you've technically, quote unquote, beaten the game. So the end game for most players revolves around farming. There are some players that prefer the more challenge aspects of the game. There are players that will do things like time attacks. There are players that will just try to set, their own goals for themselves. Like, again, collecting every servant, bonding every servant, foeing every servant, you name it. And to a degree, some players have multiple of these goals and play multiple different game modes. It is what it is. The difference there, though, is that, again, if we look at that, most players will have that bias. They might be cognizant of it, but they also will just hate the other side and not really give it a fair chance. So, like, if you were to ask a challenge-oriented person how they felt about the game with regards to farming, they would tell you that they hate it. Simultaneously, if you talk to someone that only likes to farm and hates challenge content, and you ask them how the challenge content is and like what they feel about it, they're going to have a litany of complaints as well. So it makes sense that people naturally have their own preclusions and things that they prefer to do in the game. But the interesting part about this is usually when we get to reviews, people have a tendency to magnify that sort of thing. So again, you'll see somebody and they'll go and they'll compare FGO to another gacha game, and they'll say, well, in this other gacha game, they allow me to, say, auto farm. And then inevitably what I've found out for most of these people is when they start to compare FGO like that and they start to complain about FGO and hold the fact that FGO doesn't have something like an auto system against it, inevitably there's a flaw there. And that flaw is that while they may prefer the auto system, they also just don't play the game that has auto nearly as much. And they basically end up playing multiple games to cover that gap. They end up being a denizen of every gacha game under the sun, and they're just kind of spreading themselves thin. So one of the reasons that they get pissed off at FGO is because FGO doesn't give you an auto function and requires your manual input. Then on that flip side, they like kind of just hold it against the game and choose to view it as a bad thing. When the reality is it's actually one of the best things for player engagement and retention on FGO's side. The reason that FGO has so many loyal fans is in part the IP, but it's also partially because the gameplay loop keeps you coming back for more. Now, there's going to be other people that'll sit there and they'll be like, yeah, but I shouldn't have to farm this much, yada, yada, yada. The game is far easier now than it ever has been in that regard. In fact, it's like unfathomable for me, who played back in year one, to see people complain about the farming in this game currently. If you think the farming in this game is bad, what if I were to tell you that it's almost triply as efficient as it used to be? That is to say, everything is 3 times easier to acquire than it used to be back in the first year of the game. So to me, I look at this and I go like, man, we're eating good. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that if people are going to compare it with the lens of other more modern gacha games, it's not going to hold up as well. But the other thing is, this is the way the game is designed. This is the way its economy is meant to scale, and it's the way they have designed it to retain players. Other gacha games will do other shitty stuff. Your farm might not be as bad, but maybe instead you have to farm an RNG drop that may or may not have the correct stats for you. Maybe instead you have to do some sort of roguelike simulator to get points accumulated over time. Maybe instead you have to do PvP. If you like those game modes, it's naturally going to be something that's really good for you. But if you don't like those game modes, you're just going to immediately nope the fuck out in the same way. And that's actually how I've been whenever I've gone to play certain other types of gacha games. I have immediately hit those, what I would call treadmills, those things that are designed to keep the player coming back for more. And I've determined that while FGO does force me to farm, it is brutally fair in how it does it. It doesn't have this like, oh, well, for instance, I just didn't get a sword or what is it called? The urn of ashes or whatever here from this node. So it's like, oh, I didn't get either of those, but instead it's like in another game, it's like, oh, I might not be fishing for just a sword. I might be fishing for like a sword plus variant, or like a sword that basically has different stats on it. And then as a result, I just never get that one specific one that I want. And sometimes I end up having to settle for nothing. Other times I end up having to settle for less. And then finally, maybe occasionally I get lucky and I get the thing that I actually desire. So an interesting problem. But this is why I think at the end of the day, every gacha game is designed differently. And people are very quick to judge a gacha game and say that, oh, this game is bad. I hate this game, when the reality is it's just not the right game for you. And that's the truth of the matter, because every gacha game, people will sit there and they'll tell you, oh, this gacha game is so much better than that gacha game. Every gacha game has its demons. They all manage to get you in some way. And how do we know this? Because none of the popular gacha games are unprofitable. They make ludicrous amounts of money, and it's all because they find a way to put the devil in the details and to actually still force you to keep spending the money on the game. So it's, again, one of the stupidest things that I've seen over the years has been people criticizing FGO, saying, oh, this game has better rates, that game has a better system, yada, yada, yada. Ultimately, end of the day, it takes one quick glance on my end over to what they're talking about to immediately spot that devil in the details and to immediately be able to go, no, that game sucks too. It's like, I'm not going to deny that FGO doesn't have its bad aspects to it, but its bad aspects are gacha aspects. It's how it always has been. And you go to look at the other games, and sure enough, they always bake in some nasty little aspect in there involving the gacha so that they can make more money. It's how they stay afloat. So it's a little bit hypocritical to just sit there and point it out at other games. Now, people have gotten me to talk trash on other games before on the channel, but it's usually when they themselves are bringing it up to try and refute me or combat me on these things. And yes, I will defend the game. I always have, and I always will in that regard. I'll try to present the sort of facts as I see it, rather than try to see it like hyper sensationalized, right? Where it's like, oh, FGO has a shit rate. And you're going to sit there and you're going to point to like FGO's basically, like 1% SSR rate. And then you're going to go and you're going to say, oh, my game has 1.5%. My game has 2%, whatever. My game's so much better than you in the gacha rate. And then I'm just immediately going to scroll right on over there, look at the gacha rate. And immediately that's going to be the first thing I'm going to check is, what's the spook rate on it? Because in FGO, it's 0.8, which means that literally 80% of the time you get the unit that you're actually rolling for, and only 20% do you not. And I'm going to go look at that other gacha game, and inevitably I see some stupid ass shit like the rate up rate, like the actual spook rate is going to be 0.5 or something even higher in some cases. And then you look at that and you go like, all right, well, if I apply that average, yeah, you get more SSRs in that system, but it's more frustrating because you never get the one that you actually want. And so that's one of the tried and true criticisms I've seen over the years. And it's just one example that I can point out. The next thing I would go to is, if that weren't a problem, I would immediately start to look at how much does a pack cost? How much currency do you get? How much currency is given to you for free as a player of the game? These are usually immediate signs that a game is nickel and diming you. If a game's not giving you free currency relatively easily and frequently, and certainly not in quantities that you can actually use, then obviously then it's got issues. It's not being as generous as maybe the other games around it. People are quick to point at FGO and say that this game is not that generous, when the reality is it's actually exceedingly generous, doubly so if you do play the game. There's numerous milestones, numerous free campaigns that give you stuff, numerous login bonuses and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, the game just requires you to kind of log in and play it some. And if you just do that, if you're just an active player, you get extremely rewarded in FGO. So, like I said, I never like those sorts of comparisons. And a lot of the times when people do these reviews, they have to compare it to that. If I were going to review FGO, I would not necessarily compare it to another gacha game unless I felt the desire to draw an example of how a system in the game could be better. That's certainly one thing to do, but I'm going to say, hey, this could be a route that the devs could go down, but ultimately I would still have to score it and rate it based off how it is. And I feel like that's a little bit kind of the problem, is people get the whole greener pasture syndrome where they're trying to sit there and review FGO, but they're looking over the fence at that greener pasture over there. And then the reality is they get over there and they find after enough time playing it that the pasture wasn't exactly greener. Yeah, maybe the game looked prettier in some way, shape, or form. That is to say, maybe the grass was greener, but it was actually like stale and rotten or something like that. So at the end of the day, it usually just ends up working out. Again, I'm not going to say that FGO can't do better. I think it can, but yeah, this is kind of my issue overall with these sorts of things. And I know I went on a long diatribe here, but I did want to get that thought out there because I get people that ask me about this stuff all the time, and I wanted you guys to understand where I'm coming from on it and why. Again, I'll defend the game, why I'll point out the actual truth of the matter in a lot of these cases, and why I don't really care for the clickbait that sort of stuff is. I think it's okay to review stuff, by the way. I don't have issue with people reviewing things. I do think areas like lottos can lead to burnout with this method. That's the only downside. Yes, but no. I do mean this because yeah, you'll see people that quote unquote burn out after a lotto, but they burn out and they come back. And the reason why I don't think this is an actual issue, it's just basically people need a break from the game for a little bit after they've played it a bunch. But the reason they don't actually burn out and they don't stop playing the game completely is because at the end of the day, the entire purpose of grinding in the lotto is to get more resources for your account. If you then turn around and invest that into your account, it feels good. The worst part of a lotto is grinding. The best part of a lotto is all of the upgrading you get to do after a lotto. So it's it would feel rather pointless if you sat there, ground a shit ton, burnt yourself out, upgraded all of your units, and then dropped the game. It would be pointless. So that's why it usually doesn't result in somebody actually quitting. And I do think, again, I'm not going to say the game's perfect. It has ways that it can need to improve. But yeah, I inherently don't like people trying to sit there and dick measure with other games. Aren't pulling a Genshin? Yeah, I've talked about the Genshin system before. I think the Genshin system is really nice for people that want to collect everything on a budget. I think the system, however, though, so just to have a quick clarification, right? FGO is going to probably cost you more to get a given unit. Okay? Genshin's going to cost you less on average probably to get the given unit. I know. But the problem with this system is, while yes, the price might be a little bit higher in FGO, I can also get the unit over here with FGO. I can YOLO single that crap. And then people will tell me oh, I can do that in Genshin. You can, but the rate is abysmally low for that to occur. It's a system that's designed to force you to almost always go to this point. Whereas in FGO, the result is very likely to occur somewhere on this timeline, right? Now, to me, it is what it is. I don't have issue with this. The thing that I will point out is this. Your free to play versus your pay to win. So, aka your paying players versus your players that pay nothing. FGO's system, yeah, your incentive to pay is to just be able to get the unit in the first place. That's always been a thing. But because of the nature of luck involved in the system, and because it doesn't like mess with its rates, there are plenty of free-to-play players that work in that system. Whereas, and I would contend this, the vast majority of people in a Genshin-like system are pay to win. And the reason why I would contend this is because you'll hear people and they'll be like, oh, I don't buy packs. What are you talking about, Cad? And then I'll be like, okay, so do you buy the Welkin Moon? And then I'll get the comment, that doesn't count. And I'll be like, you sweet summer child, they got you. Like, you have paid them money. They got you. They won. You are not free to play anymore. You spent money on the game. FGO does the same thing in that regard with its GSSRs. So I want you guys to think about that. Every time a anniversary or New Year's rolls around, there's a GSSR and there's a paid increment to it. That is going to try to get people to pony up. So to me, it's more that this system is designed in a way where, yes, they probably make a little bit less off the gacha, but they convert far more of their player base into a paying player base. They might not be as whaley necessarily, but they have that covered by the virtue of, again, we need 5 copies over here on FGO and we need 6 copies over here on Genshin. So they have more of an upside on the whales that they do have, right? So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But again, I'm not going to say whether or not one system's better or worse. I'm just pointing out that I see this like mantra that like, oh, FGO's gacha system is bad. And I'm like, no, it's actually not. It's just brutally fair, again, is what I would call it. You know what the rates are. Yes, it sucks. Yes, you're not going to be able to collect every unit in the game unless you're pay to win, but it is the way it is. And the reality is you just have to pick and choose the units that you want if you're free to play and go after those specifically. But you can still make a robust account. It can still get through all the content. So it's less of a need and more of a want for why players will spend money on the game. Versus something like Genshin Impact, it is far more logical to spend money on the game because the economy has been strangleholded a little bit. It's been chokeholded, sorry is the better term. And they're trying not to get you, like, again, all that free currency and stuff. They're not giving it out as frequently. They want you to spend the money. So they choke the free currency down a little bit. And then they basically say, here's a package deal. Look how efficient it is if you buy this, basically this currency pass, this Welkin Moon. And that's what's going to convert you into a paying player. Because they've now made the resources run a little bit dry. And it's like, well, I'd be a fool not to get this because it's cheaper than buying a straight pack. So why wouldn't I get it? And that's how they get you every time. And again, like I said, we can go back to the other system. We can go to FGO's system, say it's brutally fair, but then we can look at the GSSRs and, oh, what's the GSSR? It's a guaranteed SSR on the cheap. You just have to pay a little. It's the same thing. Every system is going to have these sorts of means. It's a battle pass with different perks. Well, there's also battle passes in Genshin. I don't know. I don't remember if like Honkai and ZZZ have that, but yeah, like I think in any gacha environment, right? And I'm not trying to like beat these two games up in particular. I'm just saying in any gacha environment, the devs have to have a way to make money, and they will always seek those ways. The difference is not all gacha games are going to be equal. Some developers are going to be greedier than others. Like, for instance, the one I often hear about as an example of one that's not that greedy is Azure Lane, because the way that they monetize it is based off skins. So it's relatively easy to get every unit that you want in Azure Lane, from what I've heard. It's the skins where they get you. But you can choose which skin you wish to acquire. So it's one of those deals. It's like technically no skin is required in that regard, but you want the skin, and that's how they get you. Usually don't need higher than MP2 since the majority of the MPs are damaged. So I saw that argument occur on Twitter. I saw somebody make the statement. Yeah, I know who it was. I don't want to name names just to not call people out. But it was somebody on Twitter was basically refuting somebody else's take that like God, what was it? That like FGO was a shit game or something, right? And somebody went after the refutation saying, oh, okay, but FGO requires you to use more than just the first copy to do 90++ content. I never responded, but my counter argument is easy. 1, you don't have to do plus content. 2, there's no requirement unless it's a lotto for you to like try and 3-turn it. 3, still a good chunk of the 90++ nodes can be done at NP1 due to things like damage bonus and damage CEs and so on and whatnot. So it's not impossible to do, and it's certainly not required to do. So if it's not required to do, why the fuck do we care? And this is sort of the issue. A lot of people will sit there and they'll bitch about the game. And I hate to say this, but like, I can defend FGO quite easily as somebody that knows all of its mechanics to a degree. But you'll get other players that will sit there and they can't adequately defend it because even they don't understand it, or they're perpetuating misconceptions like that. Like, again, chat, there is no requirement for you to do a 90++ node other than maybe like the one time for the clear bonus. You don't have to do it. You can still just sit there and do a 90+ node. It's going to have roughly the same equivalency. There might be a slight farming edge, but you can still clear an entire event just off a 90+ node. So there's never a requirement that you go touch 90++. And yet you'll still see people that think they have to. And again, this is the trick that these games play on you. It's, oh, I have to do the maximum level of node, because if I'm not doing the maximum level of node, then I'm not being peak efficiency. And if I'm not being peak efficiency, then I'm losing the game somehow. And if I'm losing the game, then this game is a trash game. And, you know, like they'll sit there and they'll basically browbeat themselves into thinking that they have to do it. Can any in-game content be done with a single copy on any gacha game? Well, I mean, yeah, obviously FGO is the example of where that could be. But in other gacha games, I don't know. You'd have to tell me. I'm not somebody that has played, like, usually I can get up to an in-game and then I stop playing another gacha game. And it's funny because that's usually, it's like where I hit the in-game and I see like how their in-game content's going to flow that I get really turned off by the gacha game. I farmed 90+ instead of plus during the Halloween event. Yeah, and there was like no real difference for you, I assume. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. So you'll see people sit here and they'll be like, oh, well, you can't do that in FGO. And it's like, yes, you fucking can. Watch me. It reminds me of like years ago when people were telling me like, oh, you can't loop a quick unit at NP1. And I'm like, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about, do you? Like, it's when people spout off nonsense like that, you know they just don't understand the mechanic at that point. So it's very similar to me when I see people say stuff like that, where it's like, oh, you have to do the 90++, and you have to use more than NP1. No, you fucking don't. You have choices. The game has given you choices. If you're choosing not to make a choice, that's your own damn fault. That's your own responsibility, right? What's up, Flim? And Fades, thank you for the resub. And Mr. Creamy, I'm sorry I didn't say it. You resubbed a while ago, but thank you for the 71. You can do it in Wuwa. You just need to get good, though. Yeah, I've heard that like Wuwa and Genshin, like Genshin, you can play completely free to play. It's just a real pain in the dick. FGO. I'm just thinking. FGO can definitely be played completely free to play. And it's not even that hard. It just requires you to have like knowledge on your side. That is to say, if you're going to be free to play, you just need to use the upcoming banners and plan your roles accordingly. How do I say this? Chat, when I started my JP account, I was what I would call cheap to play. The only thing I spent money on was GSSRs. Never from any of those GSSRs did I get the support unit, or any support unit for that matter. So I acquired every support unit in FGO all the way up through Oberon? I'm trying to think what came after Oberon. Did I spend money for Proto Merlin? No, because she was the first banner, so I didn't. I think I finally did for Summer Scotty. Finally. So when Summer Scotty came out on JP is where I finally put money down for my first welfare. Sorry, not welfare, support. Like meta support. Otherwise, I acquired every other meta support free to play. Could I have beaten the game without Summer Scotty? Yes. Absolutely. So, like, that's where I'm going to try to say is like, yeah, no, you can play all of FGO free to play, and the game is probably one of the most generous games for it. It doesn't mean that you won't get stuck. It doesn't mean that you won't have like a bottleneck at points where you need to stop and work on your account. I think this is something that a lot of players take for granted nowadays, and they'll just sit there and they'll like bull rush themselves right into in-game content, and they'll like beat their head against a wall of a boss fight. They'll pop quartz, they'll pop command seals, they'll pop blue cubes, whatever, to get through it. And to me, my sign is like, if you need more than the 3 command seals to get through a fight, that is your sign that you need to go work on your account, because your account is not up to par for where it needs to be. Now, that doesn't mean it's like it sucks across the board. It just may mean that you have a deficiency in your account. Like maybe you didn't level enough riders and that's why you're stuck on Demeter. So that can be a thing, right? But at the end of the day, I'm still going to say it's still easily playable as free to play. And the only difference is people often, especially with this game, get in a hurry. They get their panties in a wad and they just go like, oh man, I can't not like freaking do this. Yeah, and I don't want to talk bad about Hanako, but what I will say, Frederick, is like the only thing I've noticed that can be an issue with like some of Hanako's comps is it's not that he's not using like a 3-star or a welfare or something like that. That you guys can do. It's usually that like some of his like more insane accomplishments have come off the back of him having, again, like a 120 gold fode coup. And could any one of you guys do that? Yes, absolutely. But should you be required to, like, again, take rare resources like grails and gold foes and put them onto a specific unit for gameplay rather than because you actually like the unit? Philosophically, to me, I say no. Like, it's not the end of the world if you would have to, but I feel like that would preclude it from saying, like, yes, we can do this all free to play. I'm not saying that you can't. What I am going to say is that some of that stuff is something that only Hanako managed to do because only he had that setup. Simultaneously, I've also seen scenarios where it's like we'll be using really rare like craft essences that you can pretty much no longer acquire in the game. That sort of thing is going to make it hard for like a new player, if they're watching something like that, to be like, hey, I can do this. And I've seen it happen time and time again where somebody will, and then they'll go, I can't fucking do that. And like I said, that's not his fault. He's doing it in like the way that he can. But it does mean that, like, yes, there is an extra level of challenge to it that players need to overcome. The difference is, though, you as a player, you don't have to restrict yourself to something that like Hanako used to do back in the day. You can use more than 3 stars, right? Like, so in that regard, if it can be done with 3 stars with all of that in mind, then you can easily do it with the, you know, like few 5 stars and 4 stars you've managed to acquire. So that's something to keep in mind, is you have every tool at your disposal, use it and use it appropriately and you'll do fine. So I think a lot of the time, like I said, people just get in a hurry and they go like, I want to be at the end game right now. I just started the game this month. I need to be at the end game. And then they get stuck and they get really angry. And I'm like, chill. This is not a race. It is a marathon. And a lot of the times people do it too because they'll be like, oh, there's an event going on right now. And I need access to the event. Well, let's be honest, chat. At this point in time, if you were to miss an event, what is the only thing from the entire event that you might not get back? Because they don't do reruns for events really anymore. If you miss the event, Welfare St. Court's Grail? Maybe the Grail. St. Court's is a rolling thing. Yeah, you've missed it, but congratulations, you've already missed the first, 9 years of it if you start on JP right now, right? So, to me, I don't think you can count St. Court's. I'm talking about if you miss that event and you never get to do that event, what is your biggest issue? You're going to get the welfare from the Evocation Festival eventually, so that's not an issue. Yeah, it's actually going to be C's and CC's and potentially Grails, like I said. So, that's your biggest issue. Chat, with Grails, there's Grail casting, so that's no longer nearly an issue because we basically have a time-limited but infinite amount of Grails that will be cast over time. Command codes and craft essences, at least the more important ones, have been getting brought back into the shop. So there's really no big deal if you miss an event nowadays. And I'm dead serious on this. Yeah, it sucks. Every event that you miss is resources that your account could have acquired to make it stronger. So you do want to get to it if you can, but it's not like it's the end of the world if you can't gain access to the event. And I'm dead serious on that. There's other methods of acquiring them. Exactly. Now, you are beholden to the devs' leisures with that sort of thing. Again, certain command codes that who knows how long it'll take for them to get added back and stuff like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world if you have to miss. So I see a lot of people that get in a rush, and the reality is you should be fine. I think every single welfare will eventually come to the Evocation Festival. I do think it's going to be a rolling thing where, for instance, they're probably not going to put more units into the Evocation Festival until we get more welfares released. So that there's always just going to be this FOMO gap that they've created, and eventually it'll come back, but, you'll have to wait. That is the incentive to get you to do the event while it's actually relevant and active, and I think that's smart of them. As long as they eventually put it in there in a okay time span. But that's also why we recently had a Evocation Festival campaign on JP that was not an Evocation Festival. That is to say, it was everything but. We didn't get any new units added to the shop because of that. So I think that was the devs' sign and their signal that they're going to extend that out over time. Rip people who need burn and curse CCs, though. One of the burn CCs is in the shop now. I think it's the lamp. Now, need multiple of them? No, I'll be honest, chat. Do you know the rarest thing in the game right now that, you can only ever acquire one of it if you missed the others. And for everything else, you might have a chance to gotcha it. Yep. Tauntsies. Tauntsies are where, to me, they are still being evil. There are only, 4 Tauntsies in the entire game. You can acquire a singular copy of one of them. And only through a rare prism purchase. And ideally, I feel like most accounts would prefer to have 2 at least. So it's kind of an oof. You can get 2 burn CCs? Okay. Yeah. No, I know. Outrage is... I'm the one that made the video about that. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's nice to be able to acquire it. I'm happy that there is a path to being able to get one, but like, holy shit, I would prefer to have a like, again, like just add the craft essence to the actual shop. That would be good. That way there's a more clear path to getting it, and potentially, again, like if you want to keep outrage there, go ahead, but then they should add like a different one to the shop if that's the case. So glad I have a copy of Poster Girl from ages ago. Yep. Well, my JP still to this day only has the one. It just has the singular copy of Outrage. Whenever Poster Girl comes back, it's never as a single raid up. Yeah, that's how they do us dirty in that regard. So again, like FGO can do better on that front. It could make... And to be fair, this is something I've complained about since they included the pity system in the game. When they put pity in the game, they changed the way banner structure works, and I don't think it's for the better. I think it's actually for the worse in some regards. There are some nice aspects about it though, and that's like instead just kind of splitting the SSRs up and having multiple concurrent banners. I think that's a net positive change. But the way they have treated 4 stars and craft essences on these banners is just atrocious. It's, to me, it's the one area that they still really need to work on gacha wise. I was so frustrated. Yep. I can't luck out. Yeah. 4 stars got it worse. Yep. I'll be curious to see what they do in the future. Chat, we are coming up on in like 7 to 8 months. We're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of this game. This game will have been around for a decade. That's fucking wild. But also on the flip side, like, I think for once we can finally expect them to do something big. And I mean that. I mean that we can hold their feet to the fire and say, we have big expectations for this. And the reason why is it's the 10th anniversary. If you're not going to go big for this, when the fuck are you? So I think, you know, normally I'm going to be the guy that's going to calm you down. I'm not going to try to overhype you. And I'm still going to say, like, you need to at least be reasonable with what you want them to do. But yeah, I think we should be able to kind of like expect something big this year, this anniversary. If, again, they don't do something big here, I just question when they ever will. It is going to be quite the monumental milestone for the game. On a random Tuesday in 3 months, yeah. 10 times great in the super success chance? No, I doubt they do anything like that. I don't know. I really don't know. I hope they have some big things coming for the game in that regard. Like, I think it would be a very good time to get eyes back on FGO, to try and win back some of your players and stuff like that. So, another 5 times maybe? Probably not, but only because they said that they'll only ever do that once and then never again. So we'll see. I mean, they've definitely gone back on their word before, but I anticipate that the way around something like that is just they get to like fudge the rate somehow and be like, oh, it's 4%, or oh, it's or instead of 5 times, it's like, oh, it's 4 times, or oh, it's 6 times, or something like that. Like they'll just be like, well, what we said was technically correct. We'll never do 5 times again, right? We announced FGO2, you can transfer over your account info. Also, we're upping the rating to 18 plus and adding mana transfer. In a kind world, that would happen. I mean, the last part would never happen. I can see a scenario in which they would allow the first part. And I've talked with you guys about this before. I don't think they will. I think humoring the idea that there could be an FGO2 somewhere in the future. And like I said, that's not a guarantee either. But humoring that idea, I think it's possible that they could allow you to transfer your stuff over, but it's highly unlikely for 2 reasons. One, it would basically require them to have all of the current servants in the new thing. And 2, it would also basically just cost them money. They would be, trying to pay to do the setup and the transfer and all the like coding and setup that would go into that. And they would also not be making any money because they would have allowed you to carry forward your servants. Therefore, you're not going to roll for like anything new that comes. I mean, like you might, right? But the smartest thing for them to do would be to make FGO2, and congratulations, you get to carry none of it over. Why? Because then if you want anything, you have to roll for it, which makes them money. So to me, it's far more likely that they do something like, I don't know, like maybe they give you a nod or they give you a bonus for having played the game or having completed certain things in the game. But I don't think they're going to let you one-to-one transfer your shit over if that were the case. Then go, you get one free, yeah. And then you also have to consider yourself, it can't be just like this, right? Like, an FGO2 would have to have a wholly new engine. It would probably need to, at that point be like 3D or something like that. I'm not sure. But the reason I say that is, again, just because if it's just more of the same, it's not going to be a commercial success. Not in the way that like FGO originally was, right? They need to, if you're going to update to a 2.0 version of your game, and this is the truth of the matter, because I think we can look at something like Overwatch 2 and Counter-Strike 2, and we can say that they kind of failed in this regard. If you get the opportunity to create a second version of your game, you need to use that opportunity to make every possible change you ever wanted to make to the system and the engine. Because it's going to be a lot harder to do once you've got everybody in the ecosystem playing the game. With that medal you got for completing part 1? Yeah. As long as it has no relation to FGO1. And FGO2 could not have no relation to FGO1. Pure and simple. Why? It's the Fate universe. You're going to be summoning servants. That already right there is a relation. So I think they could do a wholly new story, not connected directly to the first one, but they would actually be incredibly intelligent if they do that to call back to the prior story repeatedly for the nostalgia kick. To remind people of what was, right? Import at least 5 to 10 servants to FGO, and my money is yours. Okay, but what if, like, one of the servants you want isn't available? What if it's like you want to import Asterios, and Asterios is just not a unit in the new game? I'd rather have more Fate games than just another FGO. Yeah, to a degree, right? Them big sad, I know. But, like, we've talked about this many times before, and that's why I said, like, it's difficult. You can't just easily do this sort of thing. And I've tried to tell you guys this before, that, like, it's not as plain and simple as people would have you believe that it is. You could, but there's a cost to it. Unable to transfer Musashi because data lost? Exactly. Which is sure, but I'd rather they don't. I mean, they'd rather they don't anyways, Peanut. Like, it's going to be one of those deals where greed is going to win the day at that point. No matter how generous maybe like Type Moon or Nasu would want to be, it doesn't matter. They've got to fund the project, right? To get a cash cow for a new generation. Oh, listen. At the end of the day, there are infinite ways to make money. Not only are there people that are far smarter than me out there that are capable of figuring stuff out, but also just in general, it is certainly possible to continue to monetize a game like FGO. Shift Up said Nikkei will last 20 years. Can FGO last another decade? I'm gonna be real with you, boss. Nikkei's gameplay is already dated from the moment it came out. Now, people would criticize FGO in the same way. But the thing I'm going to point out is FGO uses a bit more of a timeless architecture to its style, which is, again, turn-based and team composition. It's more like a JRPG is how you're looking at it. Nikkei is like a vertical side-scrolling like arcade shooter. So it really actually is like a dated gameplay style. Like, it reminds me of arcade games I used to play in the early 2000s and late 90s. So I think that's going to be the number one thing that limits that game, but we'll see. If Shift Up is successful with it, then perhaps they just go, you know what? Let's do an actual shooter or something like that down the line. Actually, under Sony now. Keep drinking about transfer and free stuff. Listen, Sony's not that bad. Aniplex is. Y'all need to be anticipating that Aniplex is the reason that's not going to happen. Come back to it and pick up where you left off. Perfect for working class players. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think FGO's original design was quite genius from the stance that, to me, the game is designed to be played by a Japanese man on the bus or on the subway. So it can literally be played on the go. It can be picked up and put down. It is turn-based, so you don't care. It's not like you're dying the second you're not pressing a button. So I will give them credit for that. I think FGO's initial design was just very well thought out for what it is. It certainly had its issues, right? Like it was a polished turd when it first released, and it has since gotten a lot more polish. But yeah, back when it first released, it had major issues that needed fixing. So it's not like it's always been to this degree. That's why Genshin doesn't have as much cash put into it ever since the launch versus, say, ZZZ and Honkai Impact. Genshin hasn't had as much money put into it literally since Honkai Impact launched. And it's wild to me to see that people don't, like, realize that. Because, like, yeah, I completely agree with you, Raisin. And I don't know why people can't fathom that that is exactly what MiHoYo is doing. MiHoYo is just on to the next project. Oh, whoops. And basically milking it as much as they can. And I think this is something that's occurred to me, is that I think with the gacha style, like we were talking about earlier, it's something like Genshin Impact has. If you look at that style, it really is like nice for the players that pay, but there comes a point where the players kind of low-key have everything. And the only way to keep people paying for more is to keep power creeping. But if they keep power creeping because their game doesn't do things like upgrades, players are just going to get pissed off because they can't keep using the same units then at that point. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I think the easy solution is just they need to actually do upgrades for units. They need to, have a system like interludes or strengthenings and just actually do it. But assuming that they don't, as they haven't really done, you now run into a problem. And that's that you can't power creep without pissing people off. And you need to power creep in order to sell more units. So eventually, I think a lot of players in Genshin go free to play. They start out paying, but then over the years, and I know this from several people that I've talked to that still play the game, they don't pay anymore because they don't need to. They have an established account that's been well worked on, and they just go, it is what it is. Which causes a problem for a gacha game. A live service game needs people to keep spending money. And that's where Honkai Impact comes in. Now here's the next gacha. Please spend money on that. And then that's where Zenless Zone Zero comes in. Here's the next gacha. Spend money on that. So I'm going to be very curious to see how long it takes MiHoYo to come out with a fourth game. They've already got 3. How long is it going to take them to come to a fourth? And I'm saying they already have 3. I'm totally discounting Honkai Impact the Third right now, just because it's the oldest of all of them. I doubt it's making nearly as much money as the others. They shouldn't and probably won't. Right. Here's the thing. If they do, right? Let's be real. If they come out with a fourth game, that pretty much proves that theory. And that theory being that it's kind of a Ponzi scheme where eventually they run out of the ability to keep robbing Peter to pay Paul. And so they have to come out with a new game in order to keep that going. Right? They have 6, actually. Yeah, I'm not going to count things that are closed down. Pretty much everyone I want and all my golds are 999 running out of goals. Okay, I was going to say, it's like, you mean goals? Yeah, no, and I'm going to point this out. That's fine, right? You're running out of goals as somebody that has been playing the game for what I assume to be 7 years. In that regard, it's wild that it took this long for anybody to hit this point. And it didn't. Some players hit it back in like year 5. The point that I'm going to make is this game has a long shelf life in that regard. Its systems are designed in a way to allow you to keep doing things. You yourself have farmed yourself out of having any goal. So it's okay for you to feel like you don't have much to do, right? Thing is, oh, right, there's no event going on, so this costs 40 AP per. What the fuck? Okay, we got to go do the recollections or I'm going to run out of AP. But in that regard, if you really sit there and think about that, that's okay. So you're comparing in like FGO, and it's, you know, I guess 7-year time span on NA / 9-year time span on JP. You have people burning out and people running out of stuff to do. Meanwhile, this happened to like Genshin after like 2 or 3 years. So this leads me to believe that their system just it progresses that faster. Players run out of shit to do faster because they kind of have more easy access to everything. And similarly, that game has never released units at a very fast clip. So it's not really giving you a whole bunch to work on. Usually you roll the new unit, you work on them, it's done before the next unit ever comes out. Therefore, you kind of just go unit to unit, banner to banner. And eventually, at some point, I think players just decide, I don't need the next unit. In Genshin, there is too much to do? Really? I don't feel like that's the case. I got bored of it and moved on. Yeah, and I think that's kind of been the case for a lot of people. And that's why I think you've seen a lot of people that used to play Genshin have migrated to Honkai. Simultaneously, I think you've also seen a bunch of people try out ZZZ. It just is what it is, right? So I think that's kind of the issue. FGO has always been designed from the forefront to be a marathon. Whereas I feel like a lot of the MiHoYo games are designed to be not like a flash in the pan, right? But like they're designed to have this like 2 to 3 year shelf life on Burnout for players. Like in all seriousness, I'm going to be very curious as to how FGO handles next year, right? Next year is going to be huge. And I feel like I say this every year, but truly next year will make a difference because we're going to find out if we have a part 3. I assume there is one, but we're actually going to get the answer. We're actually going to start heading towards it because we know Ordeal Call is ending. We know it is ending next year. When? I don't know. It might not end until the end of next year, but it's going to end next year per their own statements. So at that point, we'll see what the future holds for FGO. Will FGO try to, galvanize itself and come up with more stuff? I'm not sure. It's really going to depend. Genshin is too much to do if you let it stack or are a new player. Yeah, I was going to say, like, most of the people that I talk to that still play Genshin, they're bored out of their mind. They literally just log in, do their daily, and then log back out. Because there's nothing else for them to work on. And I understand. But, like, that is just kind of the way it is. I think it's one of those deals. So, if you were to start Genshin Impact today, it would be overwhelming to you. There'd be a ton of stuff to do. But that's no different than FGO. If you start FGO today, there is a shit ton of stuff to do, and it can be overwhelming. This is, again, why I have things like the new player guide that are meant to be like, hey, here's a breakdown of, like, literally everything in the game so that you know how to handle it whenever you're like, hey, should I do this? You can go read the section on that and figure out whether or not it's the case. Are they going to update the game to 3D modules? I doubt it. That would require a total, like, conversion. And that would be an interesting thing. It'd be really cool if they could, but I doubt it, right? That being said, that would probably be one of the bigger things that would actually get people to return to FGO. Like that's when I talk about there needs to be, like, a big splash moment for FGO to, like, get people to come back and try it out that have either given up on it or basically just determined that they're kind of done playing with it because it's boring. That's how you do it. You need something eye-catching, something that makes people's heads turn and make them go, wow, FGO did what? If you do something like that, that's a way to do it. All the other FGO servers die and they stop getting income. Yeah, I agree. That's why I assume the worst case scenario isn't that. The worst case scenario is further away from that. It's instead, to me, the worst case scenario that I can see them doing is part 2 ends and part 3 continues on, but there's no story. That is to say, the game continues. You can keep playing the game. Maybe they run events every now and then. But story is done. That's the worst case scenario. Because I don't think they go the other way. The other way is just like asinine. But, yeah, I agree. I think that's also almost just as bad as just ending the game. People would just be like, what the actual fuck? There's no more story? Like, yeah, I'm going to catch up, I'm going to get my crap done, but then I'm out. And I'm not going to spend any more money on the game. So you may as well kill the game at that point. Because it would stop making money. So I hope they don't make that decision. But who knows? Because a lot of this too, like, we can look at it from the perspective of money, but money's not going to be the deciding factor of everything in this. How do I know that? Because Nasu has a say. And ultimately, if Nasu feels like the game should end, he can end the game. At least from indicators that we've seen. I'm trying to remember what this fight is. It's been a hot second since I've done LB6. Writer and alter ego. Is this Muramasa? Red hair, DVR, and Mura. Okay. They need Bond 10 marriage cutscene. Low key, and I've said this before, I wonder if that's something they're actually planning. Not like marriage cutscene, right? But like, I wonder if they're going to try to make Bond 15 and really just Bond craft essences in general more robust. Now, we all think of that from the gameplay side of making them more robust. But what if now when you unlock the Bond CE, it's now like a fully voiced reading of the CE? Or again, yeah, maybe they add a cutscene or something to it that's unique to that character. That'd be a lot of work. But they have indicated the desire to do work with regards to that. So I'm not sure at this point. You also took a scuffed Castoria? Did I? Did I take? Is it level 70? I took the game support one, didn't I? $888. I'll be fine. You can see my man Mucha Macha there barely lived, so whoop. That one's not a hard one. In fact, that one on Super Reco is probably not too difficult. Probably. But did they make a gimmick to power up the Bond C? Well, that's what I'm saying. We can entertain the possibility of them improving the gameplay of Bond Cs. That's fine. We've entertained it many times before. What I am saying is most people, when they think Bond CE improvement, they don't think about non-gameplay applications of that, which is very possible. Like, the reason I'm saying this, chat, is I'm trying to warn you that it very well may be what the devs are actually planning to do. Like, there is a non-insignificant chance that that is the case. I want them to remove cost from Bonsi and make it like an equipable passive. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's certainly something that they could do, but we'll see. I Spaceship Star MP5. Is this enough for the 90 plus nodes of this lotto? 90 plus? Yeah, probably. 90 plus plus? 90 plus plus is probably going to depend on the node. The plus plus nodes this time around are some of the worst we've ever done. So this screams that I'm required to take Castoria. The Saber, is this the first encounter with Barghast? Yeah, it's I want an archer potentially. And I assume it's no repeat units, hence why it's doing this to me. Damn. Y'all making a great argument for having your own Proto Merlin right now. What the shit? It took me all the way to this point, 3/4 of the way down the list to find a singular Proto Merlin. There we go. Yeah, let's go with that. Oh, right. Literally Archer Man. I have not done her upgrade there. Is this the one that you need to, like, crit? Still doing 90 plus because it's better. Yeah, I think that sort of thing is the... Oh! Chat. Do you know what I discovered? I discovered when going through my craft essences, because I was capped out on JP, that I had this finally at MLB. This is the Berserker specific Black Grail. So, sucks for anyone that's not a Berserker, but I definitely have some robust Berserkers. So I was like, oh, thank God. It's kind of a shame, though, because it means that I got this to MLB before I ever got OG Black Grail. But I will take it. It's not 2400 attack scaling, but it doesn't have the demerit that normal Black Grail has of eating your health every, like, couple of turns. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just going to leave this as that. The 999 is a problem, but I love how they make Oberon an archer of all things. He's a writer as well later. It's just weird story occurrences. If not, rip Gouda for this year. Yeah, I think Gouda is the only event that hasn't been broken. Because we haven't had... Well, that and summer. We've always had a summer event and a Gouda every year. But we have broken with tradition on Christmas. Have we broken with tradition on Valentine's? Maybe Valentine's is the other one. I'm trying to remember because I feel like there's something here where I'm like not supposed to NP or some crap, but whatever, we'll figure it out. What could possibly go wrong anyways? My dude is a man of many talents, yeah. But yeah, no, I hope we get Gouda Gouda. And a Gouda Gouda Christmas is something that I've said like they should do for a while. I would love to see that because I think it's smart of them to take like one of their other like normal running events and change it into a seasonal event just for the theming of it. But yeah, I would certainly be worried in that regard. Okay, Oberon is just gonna die. Fantastic. So instead, we're gonna pull one of those. And we're gonna let Oberon try to work some magic here. Gonna suck though if he doesn't bar break. Please give me more Nobus. Well, Santa Nobu would definitely be an interesting thing. I doubt it'll ever be combined. I remain optimistic. Apparently, Koha Ace did tease that, but like Koha Ace is also a like long-running manga, so you can kind of just expect that that sort of thing will be the thing. No point in NPing here. I mean, like, I guess for the drain I could, but there's really no point. Yep. Jesus Christ. You just one turned Oberon. Okay, so we can kind of stall her out here. Deserve. You're not wrong. Okay, if I can get below 200, not quite. Ew. Probably gonna take a third NP here, but I should be fine. As you can see, oh my god, I'm just draining the ever-loving crap out of her. Barghest has gone back. Just gonna pop that. You know what? Here. Add a little bit extra there. And go for it. This one, I could see this one being a little bit problematic on Super Reco, but mostly because the double force supports. That can definitely be a problem for fights like this. Okay, that one's not bad. Granted, again, Squirtoria makes a lot of those fights like Omega Lull. But it's a bit spicier, yeah. Okay, wait, so that was those two. Where's this baby? Wait, this is just a level 90. This isn't even a plus. Did we not get plus plus variants of these? Santamori would be hilarious. I would be terrified of that. Your big bow, I see. Caster. Wait, is this the end boss to part 1? Oh, is it Wood Woes? Oh. What the heck is this that it stole? Let me look something up real fast. Okay. Cad's favorite crotch clown? Yes. How did you know? Actually, it did an okay job of filling out the party. Like, I've got a taunter, I've got a dick wizard, and I've got somebody that can be buffed by the dick wizard. So, a single target with a black grail at that. That being said, I'm not putting a black grail. Let's get the dick wizard some Prisma. Trying to remember, because don't I need to NP with Percival? I feel like that's a thing. Okay. Hmm. Actually, I probably should have cast that on himself, but whatever. That debuff immunity is going to be a problem, but I think it's just mental debuff immunity. Memory serves. I actually probably should have done Castorias, but I still like Percy's MP. They managed to make the mount feel like it actually has weight to it. Jesus. Okay. We go in backwards order. That should taunt glitch him, and it should end his turn, but I don't know if it will. Because basically the first hit of Woodrose's first attack will Woodrow, sorry, will kill Percy. Fun. Yep. There you go. So that ended his turn. Ah! No! I forgot the one crucial rule of using Liz. Ah! I forgot she had the skill seal. When does the lotto for an A start? It's going to start Friday. We're going to have the live stream for the announcement tomorrow. Come on, pop the bar at least. Thank you. Okay, that's fine. That means I actually get to save the other stuff for later. And she full loop. Look, let nobody say that Liz is not a good writer. Like, holy crap, Cinderella is just fantastic. That was just a what? I'm sorry. What? What just happened? God damn. Four turns of that crap too. Think we pull that. I'm gonna have to try and stall my way through this to a degree. Took away her 12k HP apparently. Yeah, to me, and that's something that I don't like about a lot of the bosses, like from LB4 onwards, is like some of them just have ridiculous attack power quantities. And you can see, I assume that was a crit, but still, it's like, it's a crit against your counter class, and you one-tapped her. Okay, that's a problem. Okay. There we go. We at least got the guts pop out of him. Thank you for that beautiful arts crit. All right. How many is that? That's not going to matter. Okay, so he's got one more. You know what? I'm gonna give Georgios the chance. We're gonna give Jorge the chance to see if he can get the killing blow. With that 60% arts crit. I doubt it, but shame. Shame. You had one job. At least he lived, but I wanted to get him a kill. It's so rare that he gets to get one. Yeah, I could have reading Steinered that and gone back basically and made it so that he didn't kill Liz, but that was rough. I was like, I'm probably still fine. I'll play it out, but yeah, I don't think that was very fair right there. Okay, then we got 4 out of 6. This one is, let's see, it's Lancer. It's Lancer and it's in the capital. Wait, why am I drawing a blank here? Oh yeah. Oh, it's Mel. Oh, we get to fight her in her humanoid form. Melu fight no plug, yeah. Alright, so stack my single target sabers. Oh, that's right. This is the recommended tab. Wait, some of you guys actually set this up? Because, like, holy shit, I never did. uh... Discord is really good because of Invuln. Oh, that's true. We check something. Really? Only dragon? Wait, is she only dragon in this one? Hmm. She's not a 7 Knight servant. That's fucking weird. I guess because it's the NPC form of her before that was a thing, right? Like, yeah, my Dioscuri is only NP1. What else do I have in the way of single target sabers? Does she have debuff immunity? Medusa? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just stun locking her to all hell. Can I take a duplicate? It will blend. Okay. Eh, Go with that. I'm actually going to turn that on. Probably not worth that much, but whatever. The true poster girl, Saber Medusa, yeah. Can't pigify? Yeah, not surprised. I feel like that's par for the course, right? Okay. Wait, hold on. Let me look at Saber Medusa's kit real fast again, because, like, I don't want to mess this up. Three times three turns? Could have bigger problems, though. We're going to use the Scotty's buffs here. There is no eggs in the lotto. Doesn't one of the rounds drop eggs? Just not from the boxes. Okay, we got the break. We got back to 50. We get the big golden booba. I don't know if that'll bar break. I may need to scuff this and go back and pop the Mystic code. Nope, it did. Never mind. Good refund too. Holy shit. This is without me using the attack up on her middle skill. You have no Mystic code. That's right. Oh. Well, I'm glad it bar broke. Okay, so she just basically goes right in on me, but I am invuln. Thanks for the free charge. Oh, how nice of you to instant charge again. Unfortunately for you, those are all quick cards, so I win. Because I have an Invuln Pierce CE on. Hello, Katana. She does refund hard AF. Yep. Like I said, this is just MP1, and I only have her at like 610-6. And she is very serviceable at that level. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely some Saber Medusa is one of those really nice units in the same way that like King of the Cavern Dantes is going to be good, because having the ability to sit there and loop and potentially stun an enemy is just so freaking strong. Especially if the enemy doesn't have any protection against it. It just allows you to be like, no. Okay, I assume this is Morgan? Did they give us a Fluffy one, chat? Am I gonna have to fight Fluffy again? No, good. I was like, that might take a bit. The problem is like, and actually no, I think I remember them specifically saying that they would not give us a Chernunos Super Reco because they knew it was going to be a problem if they did. Like I think that was a comment on one of the interviews from last year or like 2 years ago. Okay, God, I'm trying to remember the specifics of the Morgan fight, because the only one that I can remember is the, like, auto-lose one, where you keep facing replicating Morgans that never go away. I'm not remembering what the other Morgan fight was. And if it even had a gimmick. You could just 3-turn it? Okay. Yeah, I'm sitting there and I was like, I don't know. I don't remember. You know what? Why don't we... Oh, she's evil, isn't she? Wait. Wait. She's evil, isn't she? Do I go for Berserker on Berserker violence? I feel like Berserker on Berserker violence is the way to go. Right, there's a 120 NP5. Games after my own heart here. It gave me all Star Bomb Cs. We're gonna substitute that CE with a better one. She takes neutral damage anyways. Why would you spoil my parade like that? There's Bob's. And I think we put a safety foreigner in the back line. for safekeeping. Just in case this all goes horrifically wrong. I have plug suit for this one, right? Because if I don't, I need to change how I do this. Actually. may need to change how I do this anyways. Sorry, Tamamo. That's probably safer. Okay. She takes neutral damage anyways? Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm taking a backline foreigner so that the foreigner doesn't get beat to death instantly, but it'll still probably happen. It's not for class effectiveness, it's for imposing disadvantage on her. But yeah, we'll see. I don't want to handle the charge. It's probably better if I go ahead and do that and give myself the incremental charges for later. This is going to be interesting to see, considering I actually have a Black Grail like CE on now, how much damage I can do. That's pretty impressive considering that's neutral. Like, holy crap. That's neutral and that's just 2 supports. But again, I assume she's at least evil. She shouldn't be divine, so I should only be getting one of them. Okay, the attack down's a bit spicier. Oh, sorry, yeah, not evil, chaotic. That's my bad. Actually, no, yeah, Morgan's probably... He's probably not chaotic. So there may not be any power mod in play. Yeah, I'm not seeing a power mod symbol there, so... Oh well. Like, you would see it in the hits if it were being applied. My brain was thinking evil, but it is... She's chaotic divine is the 2. And I think it's... the reason I'm thinking that is because of Lartoria yesterday. Okay, so that didn't quite pop Le Bubble, which is kind of a problem. Gonna abuse that. This is gonna be my last turn with all the buffs. But I'm gonna try to put this into a scenario where I loop her back again and then have Castoria's NP. Because again, everybody still has the single solemn defense here for protection. That is the issue, is Castoria's NP does not stack with Castoria Berserker's NP. At least for solemn defense stacks. Ugh. Yeah, I thought she was about to hit her 3 times in a row, and I was about to be like, you bitch. That is a lot of debuffs. Oh, and she buff stripped me. What the fuck? So there went my stacks. I think she, if I remember correctly, she removes all defensive buffs. Let's see. It's amusing to return to these quests with newer units. Oh yeah, yeah. Like you can see again, kind of like how I just sat there and Medusa'd all over Mellison. With time and better units, a lot of the fights become trivial because you have technology that you didn't have at the time, right? Like you have the easy capability of just waltzing right in. Your account is usually better, especially after a couple of years. So it ends up really working out for you. But it's one of the things I've talked about before. It's like nowadays, if you guys were to go through like the Epic of Remnants, you would discover just how easy they are. But at the time, doing them on release, they were not that easy. So, for instance, Shinjuku, you had Shinjuku Avenger, which was an actual Avenger enemy in a game that didn't have moon cancers yet as a class. Or fighting, what's his face? Megalodon, not Megalodon. The big red Herc from Agartha. You didn't have foreigners in the game. Foreigners trivialize them. So it's like it's really interesting to see how you can go back and you can just make it way easier. Megalos, thank you. And again, like having that, but having the ability to go back and do it, it's nice. It's good because it's like, oh, you know, I maybe thought this was going to be more difficult. I maybe thought this was going to like, you know, give me some trouble, and then you go back and you're like, oh wow, it's actually a lot better. And then you also get to see how good your account has gotten since that point as well. So this is Canis? Question mark? Oberon? Oh fuck. This is the one I want to use Castoria Berserker on. Yeah, he's chaotic. He's not divine unless he just happens to be in this, but oh right, threat to humanity, thank you, yes. Which she also really likes, so keeping her in is not a bad idea. Debating if I want to leave Mash in for the taunt. Does he ever get invuln off of a break bar, chat? He shouldn't, but I'm just trying to think here if I need a different CE. Didn't? Okay. Still a really cool opening. I feel like LB5 and LB6 both had really cool openings for that. LB7, I didn't care as much for. And I don't remember if Ordeal Calls had any yet. That's a shitty card draw to begin. There's Oberon's theme match. If I turn it on, people will complain constantly about sound delay. I knew to Maluvia? Yeah, that'll work too. He's chaotic evil, so. Evil is right up her alley. Okay, good. He actually tried to hit her. That actually saves me a lot of grief. Wait, what is this? What is this debuff? Because I know he puts me to sleep. I'm just trying to remember what it is off the top of my head. He removes buffs on attack? Okay. That's fine then. I could probably taunt him into mash. Because I have the card, so I should be able to refund. Let's go for that. And that should make it impossible for her to get slept. Amazing. Well, no, we should be fine. Wait. I can't debuff immunize myself. That's a problem. They went my perfect 3 turn. With OG plug, you could just stun him. Yeah. Should have just done that. I should have just done that. I don't know why. It's been so long since I've used OG plug that I just forgot about it. Like, who said I don't get to 3 turn chat? You know what? Just for that, we're also stunning his ass. I don't know if she'll do it flat-footed, but yeah. Threat against humanity. Double X saves the day again. Still a min turn. This is why you keep your backline double X available. And my JP one is 120, so it's just oops, teehee, my hand slipped. She's 120, so yeah, she's 120, but it is also a pretender, and it is also a threat against humanity. So she was going to fuck him up. That was basically just her own buffs plus a mystic code plus a craft essence that she had equipped. And that was it. And she did 500k to him. It happens, chat. Do you think Oberon changes form when he's in Chaldea? Probably. I think, and keep this in mind, chat, that the variant that we summon to our own Chaldea is not the one that, like, you fought against in story and stuff like that. People have a tendency to forget that aspect. Rongo just slipped? Yeah. It was just like, oops, I'm sorry. Which is one of the things I actually don't like about LB6's story. Is that Rongo Miniad is basically ineffective against him. When in proper human history, it's actually the thing that fucked him up. He remembers everything, though? Don't worry about it. Yeah, all in all, especially since they didn't include a fluffy one, those are not that bad. I do think doing the super recos could be a little bit annoying on certain ones, but for the most part, doing the super recos is probably not too bad either. Does he hate us as much as Story Oberon? No. He hates you more now. Woodwow's Super Reco is hard. Yeah, like, you really probably need a strong writer if you want to try and min-turn that. And that is definitely like I have a 120 NP5. No, actually, I don't think I've finished 120 here. I have a like 101 NP5 made altar on JP. But while Maid Alter can loop if she gets her cards, because her refund is actually quite nice, if I don't get those cards, I'm just fucked. So it's definitely one of those ones where it's like, I don't know. I don't know that I feel like attempting something like that. But we'll see. Maybe prior to the prior to the stream tomorrow, we'll do some of the super recos to give us something to do. Because again, it's not like there's a whole lot going on outside of this. Oh, I do need to talk to you guys about the event. Let me pull open the JP thing. Should be this. Yep, there you go. So here is our new event. I was pointing out to Trubs, it has a very like LB7-esque feel. And it's really kind of interesting to me. And, you know, Avalon was pointing out as well that like this outline here, it's not the same exact shape, but it's because it's flat angled. As opposed to, if you guys look, this is the remaining silhouette. So you've got like the hook in here. You've got like the little like tube thingy down here. So it's very, very similar in shape and form. So it's very likely to be our last silhouetted servant, which appears to be, I don't know, some kind of, like to me this screams like woman, almost like with like a bow or something in her hair and a little bit of a tuft, but we'll see. That looks to me like Rio art. I could see that. I could very much see that. And if you think about it, it does kind of make sense because, oh, look who's here. Trubs told me who he thinks it is. I think with it being potentially Rio and with Bunyan being here, it makes perfect sense for who Trubs is claiming it is. I'm not going to spoil you guys on that, mostly because I can't remember the exact name that Trubs said because it didn't stick with me. But he presented me his logic and I go like, no, yeah, that totally fits, right? Like, so I think Trubs is right on that. We'll see because it's a very eclectic cast. You've got Burrito Mart, you've got Caesar, you've got Ishtar, you've got Mao Nobu. So it's kind of all over the place. And in that regard, again, it doesn't appear to be a Gouda, but we do have Mao Nobu here, which is rather odd. So I don't know if that was just a sort of also ran type deal where they're like, hey, we're not going to do a Gouda this year or what. But again, the other question was, will this be a lotto? It doesn't currently look like one, but it's possible that it might be. You can see Destroy Mystery House Crafters, Star Miners, and Wings of Sunrise. Trubs is looking over. I think it's the Winchester Haunted House for something like this, and that may be what they're getting the inspiration from. But yeah, this definitely reeks of like Mississippi Mythbusters like Redux is kind of where this is at. So we're getting a login bonus for the pre-campaign here. Again, just standard rewards, it looks like. The event period of the pre-campaign goes to the 22nd, but apparently we have a stream on the 13th. So you guys can expect the event probably later that day, or again, like I said, probably at worst like the 14th. But I assume it's probably just going to be stream and then boom, there it is. But again, yeah, just some QP, some gold apples, and then some quartz there. We have bonus units. We do sometimes get bonus units in a lotto, as Avalon was pointing out. It's usually around Christmas, so it's possible this could be a lotto if it's if this is supposed to be our Christmas lotto this year. But there's no indication of that yet. And usually, if you read through this, when it is a lotto, it will kind of indicate that it's going to be that, though this is the pre-campaign. So there usually is some sort of mention of like, hey, the upcoming event will be, something in that regard. So the fact that it doesn't say that in any way, shape, or form leads me to believe that it's probably not, but we'll see. Again, event bonus, the rate of great and extreme success in strengthening servants is doubled, but I believe it is just, the event bonus servants. So not everybody gets this, just the people that are actually on bonus. Sometimes we have Fest Lotto bonus units like in Ilia Fest, yeah. So it's like, just the fact that there is damage bonus doesn't necessarily preclude it. Half AP consumption for strengthening quest for event bonus servants. I hate them so much for this because you guys know I have 30 different strengthenings currently accumulated available on my JP account, and I can do nothing with them because they're not half cost, and I'm waiting for a half cost. So the fact that they finally gave a half cost, but it's just for the event bonus servants, that just salts me. I don't know why they still haven't done this. Again, you guys can see these are going to be the units that should apply for that. So event bonus servants get more bond as well, 20% there. And basically we have an Ishtar and Ozzy pickup here. Again, with some of their old craft essences from prior stuff. Which I'm going to point out that if this were like Lotto related things, you would maybe see that pushed in, but I'm not seeing it. No rate up 4 stars. Just the 2 of them. It'll be interesting to see if Ozzy gets another upgrade here. I suspect that he will not. Because he shouldn't. Ozzy's already our top writer at the moment. Okay, so you must complete part 2, chapter 5, basically Lost Belt 5, Olympus, in order to do the event. They say the event start date is mid-November planned, but again, they don't tell you exactly when. But like we said, we can assume it's probably on the 13th. The combo, thank you for the 49. Telling you right there, you don't need to do Epic of Remnant. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I missed. Even if servant is eligible, they may not appear in the main scenario of this event. That's an odd disclaimer, but sure, go for it. But yeah, nothing really too much. Like, they didn't give us a whole lot of info. At best, we can speculate as to like what's going on with relation to the servants, but keep in mind, just because it requires LB5 does not mean that it's going to be LB5 spoilers. Like I already said, some of the motif to me almost looks a little LB7-ish. So if that ends up being true, that kind of fits, because I think we had a LB6 spoiler event that required LB4 to do. So them requiring LB5 would make sense if it's going to be an LB7 spoiler event. But we'll see. I'm not sure either way. Burrito buff would be neat. Yeah, I would certainly out of these units, right? I think certainly Burrito Mark can get one. Ozzy does not need one. Mandy doesn't need one because he's just had one. Van Gogh's a little bit of an iffy case. I can see a scenario in which she gets a buff, but she doesn't exactly need one. She's still strong at what she does. Mao Nobu doesn't really need one at the current moment in time because Mao Nobu is extremely upgraded. Bunyan, I could see getting one. Not that Bunyan isn't already strong, but Bunyan is not super popular, I suspect, at least in this form. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them buff Super Bunyan to sort of increase sales of Super Bunyan. OG Bunyan's not going to get one because OG Bunyan's still extremely good at what she does. Nezha's in a better state. I'm not really sure on her. Caesar's already really good for a 3-star, so to me, he doesn't need one. Asterios. This really depends on your stance on Asterios. Asterios is certainly very strong at what he does. It's just that what he does has largely been outclassed by some of the like meta supports nowadays. But he's not designed to compete with them. He's a 1-star. He's a budget unit. So it really depends. To me, I think you could upgrade an Asterios and it would not be the end of the world. Ishtar's only claim for why she would need an upgrade is Gil. That's it. So to me, Ishtar doesn't need one. I think she's still perfectly fine in her performance. So yeah, I think these two are I'm not really sure in that regard. Ishtar has her better life, so she's already out. Yeah, that too. Granted, it's not like they couldn't just do the buff later or something like that, right? Also, if I didn't say it, thank you again, Yakama, for the sub. Gogi is still amazing. Yeah, like if all of a sudden you woke up tomorrow and Van Gogh had a buff, I wouldn't like scream and be like, what the hell? Unless the buff was somehow like really ridiculous, right? But no, it's like Van Gogh's a niche unit, so being niche has its advantages. It means that like you're strong at what you do, but what you do is not necessarily like all that important or necessary. So it's not the end of the world if they buff you. It's also not the end of the world if they don't buff you, because you're not really impacting other units since you're so unique in how you stand out. Oh, Asterius' Bond C to be quick in arts. Yeah, his Bond C is pretty crap. I still don't understand that choice. But no, that's it. That's really all we have for the new event. Like I said, I'm surprised, but also not surprised. It just kind of is how it is. But okay, chat. Let's switch gears. I'm going to play some WoW now at this point because, again, not much going on. We'll definitely be staying tuned tomorrow because we have the announcement stream for NA. Again, they haven't given us an actual date for the lotto, but everybody just assumes the lotto's Friday, and I don't blame everyone for assuming that. Though it's possible that it's not. It's possible that they kind of flip the script on us and they delay it somehow. I don't see them doing that. I think it's gonna be tomorrow, and that is what that is. Oh, hold on. You guys are about to get flash banged by me? Hi. Bye. I knew I hadn't changed it on this scene, so I was like, oh. Wow, it's WoW, yes. Oh my god. Yeah, for those of you guys that have been following along with my WoW account, again, I've come back to the game after 15 years of being gone. I've recovered my main account's original character, which has a lot of like veteran stuff on it, and I've been leveling it up and working on it, and it's now actually better than the original mage that I started when I first started playing. So it's actually surpassed it in item level and everything like that. Flashed by the flesh tuber? Yes. Yes. Yeah, this is my mage. It's being a little bit laggy here, I suspect, because OBS is open. There we go. Yep, that helped it out. And she is 6'10", so I'm coming along. I definitely got to keep advancing her more. I need to be doing things like mythics, things like more veteran raiding, like heroic raiding. But it's kind of difficult because I rely on my friends for that sort of stuff, and the friends are often busy themselves. So it is what it is. In the meantime, though, I have at least something that I can work on, which is delves. Delves are something that kind of always need to be done on a, like, kind of day-to-day basis. So you'll catch me doing them fairly frequently. Delves are kind of like dungeons, miniature dungeons, but instead of having, like, a bunch of bosses and trash mobs, it's mostly trash with objectives that you have to complete, and then a singular boss at the end. Any good looping spreadsheets for the lotto? Yeah, just check that out. That'll have you covered. That is the spreadsheet that Avalon made for the lotto. If you need a sort of explanation as to how it works, I also have a video that covered it. Okay, so it looks like... God damn it, it's Fungal Folly again. At least it's Fungal Folly. I can handle Fungal Folly compared to if you guys were there, was it Monday? And I tried to do a delve. It was like the worst occurrence of a delve I've ever had to do. And it pissed me off. I was gonna say, I don't know if Mr. Creamy's around or if Czar wants to, but I see both of you kind of online. So if either of you guys wish to join me, feel free to. Whee! The underwater delve was awful. Yeah, I don't recommend anybody do that delve. Just stay away from it. It's terrible. It's like, imagine the underwater level of Mario, and like that thing just wanted you to suffer is all I can really say about it. Also, if the UI is ever confusing to you guys, I have a lot of stuff open, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, I can explain every aspect of the UI. So if you guys ever have any questions about that, I am happy to oblige. And again, my character is a Drakthir mage. Oh god, that's bad.
It is not ready yet.
I should be fine. I just can't hit my control keys because my one add-on is still functioning from FGO. It's my telestrator, basically. I'm down to 6 more tier 2 sets left to get now. I have like 5 or 4 left. I haven't done too much grinding in that regard. I need to get them done because I do want to collect them all, but it's not like the end of the world. And for someone like me, like I had been like quite a bit of the time like farming old dungeons for transmogs. I fucking hate these things. Okay, so I guess I need the...
I cannot use that item yet. That item is still recharging.
What the heck? What do you mean it's not ready yet?
I do not have a target.
It must have had a little bit left on that. See, you can see my mage does fairly solid numbers. At least now. It didn't at first, but I switched because I was originally fire leveling this thing, and I switched to arcane, which is the, I guess it's the current meta spec, but that's kind of debatable because apparently ice has been making really good strides. I've yet to learn ice. I need to like take some time, probably like this weekend or something, and actually give it a try, because ice does seem like it just does very consistent damage. Oh, that put me up. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna take that sucker on.
It is not ready yet.
Basically, as arcane, I do a lot of like proc based stuff, so you guys can see me. I'm casting arcane blast over here. I get procs from my arcane missiles. That's the big like channeled cast that you'll sometimes see go out. And occasionally I get arcane barrage, and barrage will barrage is an instant cast, and it allows me to sometimes proc and shoot an orb out with it, like that. Until January, so there's plenty of time. Yeah. And I'm actually like, I could be like hardcore leveling some of my classes, but I'm kind of waiting because I know I'm gonna have like the holidays like down at my sister's and stuff, so I'll just probably load WoW up onto my laptop and have that. And so between like FGO and WoW, I'll have plenty to do.
Take a break.
Granted, we've also got Stalker 2 coming out, which I'm excited for because I've watched my buddy Steve play the Stalker series for quite some time, and I get the feeling that this one's going to be a good one since the devs have had extra long period of time to bake it, particularly because of what's going on in their home country, which is something I don't envy them for. I feel bad that they have to deal with all of that, but they have managed to hold together. That... Oh, it conjured a table. What the shit? I still need to finish Silent Hill. Yeah, how was that? Did you guys enjoy playing Silent Hill Remake? For any of you guys that that got it? I'm like right under this sucker. Oh, it looks like I win this one. Oh boy, Zekfir.
I cannot use that item yet.
So you can see if I like unleash all my cooldown, stuff melts. But outside of that, my DPS is very like
I need
middling.
to target something first.
And my cooldowns give me like super burst, but everything else not so much.
I require a target.
I'm gonna kind of try to clear like anything that I think could aggro.
I do not have a target.
I was actually trying to get my staff made this week on my evoker, my legendary staff, and it kind of messed up, and I get the feeling it's somewhat impossible to do on an evoker. Like, you can do it, but you have to have help trying to get it done.
Your mana is looking low.
Hey, that sucker might not aggro me.
That item is still recharging.
I did the Lego staff on my shaman years ago. What was getting you? So the problem that I keep having is, for starters, I'm at the point where I have to, God, how do I describe it? Like, I have to like get the various pieces to drop from fighting them, combine the three pieces, create a like dull fragment, and then like put it in front of them whenever they do an ability. And the issue that I've had is I accidentally still managed to kill two of the things. So like last week, I got two done, but I killed them, and I realized that kind of bricked me. I'd also killed two of them beforehand, so I was just hard bricked from that alone. But then this week, I'm like, okay, I'll get the other two remaining done, and I won't kill them. And in both cases, I had to kill them. / accidentally killed them.
Looking a bit rough. Take a wee
So I'm
rest.
thinking about just going and doing it on my mage, which has already advanced it up to like the point that it could get all that like this entire part done this week. At least I think. Actually, no, I think my mage still has to clear a couple more, so I'd have to still go another round. You're on delegation? Yeah. Delegation just sucks. I fucking hate that quest. It's just awful. It's not like impossible to do. It's just tedious, and when you're such a high level compared to the content, you get worried about like accidentally like killing the enemy. And then like, for instance, I got Steve to help me on one of them, and he had his paladin, and I guess like just due to talents or something, paladins have a thorn like ability, so the boss just killed itself against him. Like, no fault of his own. I didn't realize it, he didn't realize it, the boss just killed itself. So I'm just bricked because of that, but it was fine because I was already bricked anyways due to having accidentally killed the prior boss on my own. Bonsoir to you too, Type. How's it going?
Don't stand there.
I cannot use that item yet.
Those spores will blow up if we hit them.
Okay, that should get rid of all the annoyances. Dude, it should not,
Let's
like,
have a quick
be able to
sip
do that
and
many
recover.
explosions in one area. Like, I just have to keep stopping and eating, and it's fucking annoying doing these things. Really good remake, IMO. Yeah, I've never really seen gameplay of Silent Hill, so it's difficult for me to say, like, oh yeah, this is just how it is. And, like, I don't know if it would be, like, the type of horror game that I would like or the type of horror game that would just annoy me. Because there's some horror games that I enjoy, and there's others where I'm just like, this is stupid. And I think part of that's my nature. So, like, most human beings have fight or flight nature, and that's fine. It's just a normal reaction, right? And so for a lot of human beings, their instinct when something scary happens is to flee, right? Mine is not. Mine is fight. So one of the things that always pisses me off in any fucking video game that does something like that is when they make, like, the big scary evil monster chase you, but it's actually, like, invulnerable and you can't do anything to it. I hate that, because, like, every fiber of my being is screaming, find a way to kill it, right? Like, and the game just refuses to let you. So it drives me up a wall, basically, that I have to just sit there unable to, like, do anything against this you know, like, person or creature that's chasing you.
That item is still recharging.
Like RE2 with the big guy. Yeah, and it's funny because I watched Steve play RE2, but I never really, like, played it myself. Instead I stuck to, like, RE4. I love RE4, and to a degree you had a similar like thing going on with Resident Evil 8 as well. And I didn't mind Resident Evil 8, but at least it's because, like, the Dami Mommy didn't stalk you for the entire time. It was only in certain select areas, as opposed to, like, something like Alien Isolation, where, like, on any given level, that creature is there and it is always hunting you. And I'm like, dude, I fucking hate that. Like, let me do something to it. You can temporarily kill Mr. X in Resident Evil 2? Really? News to me. Gonna wait the 5 seconds on this evocation. I've heard great things about it. Prophet's the one that wanted me to play it, and he loves it. So it's like, I just assume that that sort of game is just not for me at that point. It's not that it's a bad game, it's that I personally disagree with how it's
I cannot
designed.
use that item yet.
It's like, for some people, it probably scratches an itch. Did you just attempt to yeet me into, like, the water and then try to, like, wombo combo me? I am not okay with that. Maybe I got hit by his cone and didn't realize it. He likes to drop to a knee for a bit and you can scamper off. Yeah, like, I at least approve of a game that will let you fight off the enemy. I feel like if all you can do is run away like a damsel in distress, it just pisses me as the player off. I'm okay with it, like, you know, in small doses, but when it's the entire core mechanic of the game, I just get angry. Ah! Jesus. And a spore spawn on top of that. There we go. Now it's done. This one's not too long.
It is not ready yet.
Dad's never playing Outlast. Does Outlast have the same fucking thing? I've heard Outlast is like really scary, but I've watched somebody play at least like a couple minutes of it, and I was like, I don't know, it seems like most normal horror games. So I just assume the scariness is in like the story, but I don't know. Outlast has like 0 combat, I see. Yeah, because it's like the like religious one, right? Like with like witches and like Satanism and stuff. Changing batteries, Jesus.
That item is still recharging.
I don't know what's screaming constantly, but I would prefer if it didn't. I think it's the thing that I'm fighting, but like pure gore brutality for shock's sake.
I cannot use that item yet. That item is still recharging.
I guess I have to fight this fucker. So this guy is a rare. He gives you a buff. Time you glide, you are healed for 6 over 3 seconds.
Nice.
What do you mean by 6? Like you mean 6 HP? Because I have like millions. What is that?
I need to target something first.
I am so confused. And then I go to square up and it just disappears. Somehow it has missed me. Unfortunate accident with the limbo stick. Wait, what? One room she entered early on. She stopped after that? Yeah. It's funny because I know a lot of women that really like horror. But I wonder, like, do they actually like horror? Or is it that they want to be scared, but then the second they actually are finally truly scared, they fucking hate it?
It is not ready yet.
Get out of the way!
I don't think he can hit me up here. kind of fucking hilarious. Ooh.
Move him here.
Okay, I'm glad that I...
I cannot use that item yet.
Invalid target. What do you mean, invalid target?
That item is still recharging.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for me to kite this guy when it's just me, as opposed to with other people. Because he doesn't ping pong, he's just committed, and you just know he's always coming for
Just
you.
how to deal with this.
Okay. Sweet. That quest to do again. Deployable recovery keg. Terrible. Give me another key. What do I get? I get a 603 cloak, which is the exact same as the cloak that I currently have. Actually, no, it's not. It's technically better because it has a little bit more haste rather than versatility. Versatility is kind of a shitty stat for DPS. It's basically like a damage mitigation stat. It's okay to have some, but it's not like it's kind of poop if your main goal is damage. So in that regard, yeah, that one's probably better than what I'm currently doing. It does pull down my item level ever so slightly, but I can upgrade it with the Valor Stones. This is my second best stout for Outlaw Rogue. Okay, so why is that? See what else is... I think the Dread Pit is bountiful. I should be able to do that one. That one's not too difficult if I remember correct. Ooh, that lag. Crossbow, thank you for the 35. How you doing? We're playing a little bit of WoW here.
We owe our service to those in need. I am listening. Be careful.
Here we go, free shit. How many Valor Stones I have? Still only 66. I feel like I just don't get enough Valor Stones currently from doing all the anniversary stuff, which, I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? Like, it's not like, oh, wow, I should be getting a shit ton because I'm doing other contrary stuff. You know, I could. Now, I guess you can't do Raid Finder for the time walking. That's big sad. Returned to WoW after a small break myself. Nice. Yeah, I'm returning after a small break of 15 years. It's funny because when the guy finally restored my main character, the GM put a smiley face at the end of it, and I'm just like, yeah, you got me. Like, I'm back. There's TBC Black Temple time walking, but can't do Raid Finder for it, sadly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Is like, oh yeah, let me go do Black Temple. It's been forever. Oh my god, I would have to polymorph again probably. Holy shit. It's funny because like I almost never have to polymorph. The only time I ever have to polymorph in content is usually when somebody fucked up and pulled something they shouldn't have. But yeah, that may be a thing, is I may do a time walking TBC raid. Because like I said, I don't know that I have to farm this lotto that much. So I'll do my farming, but like, I really don't need to be like going apeshit with it. Where's the entrance to this place? There. I usually try to do at least like my 4 delves a week. You can do up to 8, but like the 4 gets me at least these first 2 rungs. So for half the effort, I get 2, as opposed to doing the full effort to get 3. To me, is not really worth, but it's at least enough. Oh, sweet, 100 resonance crystals. I'll rescue your friends while I murder everyone. Jesus, that is a ton of enemies. Okay, let's make sure we're on the same page here.
I must get closer. It is not ready yet.
Boom, baby!
I require a target. I do not have a target.
Oh, I already killed him. Wow. Oh! Jesus Christ! Why are you so angry?
I require a target. I need to target something first. That item is still recharging.
I swear tab target sometimes just does not target.
I do not have a target.
Oh my god. Yeah, I thought they were gonna have less health than that. Like, usually when you see that many enemies grouped together, they are not that strong. Okay, there goes Zekvir at least.
Your
Oh
mana is
man.
looking low. Take a break.
Kill that dude. Yeah, he's full fucking health as far as enemies go. What the shit? So that means I just defeated a pack of like 12 enemies at the same frickin' time. That's actually kind of impressive, because these guys, like 2 of them pulling like 1 too many can fuck you up. At least as a mage. Is it action bar item? That's right. That's why I wasn't supposed to do that. Because we're gonna body aggro these assholes. I'm gonna pull the one in the back.
I need to target something first.
I don't know. Stay over there. Cad's just doing hard mode for extra loot. I'm so bad about using use items because I just don't pay attention to them.
I cannot use that item yet. It is not ready yet. I require a target.
I'm just gonna keep striking while the iron's hot. As long as I have buffs rolling, I'm gonna keep killing. That's a problem. Don't fucking Zekvir buff the Nerubian Lord. What the shit, game?
That item is still recharging.
I'm worried about those damage pop-ups in the corner over there. Not gonna hit me from that far, is it? Okay, good.
Mana is needed. It is not ready yet. I do not have a target.
Let's have a quick sit down.
Okay, he's dead. That dude's big. You need to save cooldowns for him. I gotta test this to see if I can body pull. Okay, I managed it. I'm surprised.
I cannot use that item yet.
Missed me with that shit. Get Olayed, son. So basically, whenever you play Mage in WoW is very much a game of keep away. And that's how you need to think about it, is if you get hit, you're dead. So don't get hit. You just need to constantly avoid the Noid. I can't tell if these assholes are just gonna like...
That item is still recharging.
Like, as long as I don't damage them, they're just never gonna actually, like...
I need to target something first.
Please target. Sometimes if you try to cast and you're not targeting, it'll assign you a target. That's very dangerous.
Recover some of your mana.
It looks like... unless I actually physically damage them, they do not aggro, which is very good. Because it means that I can do that.
Stand there.
Nope, no ages for you. Probably gonna try to cast it again. I'd prefer not to have to use my cooldown, so we're just gonna go ahead. He tried it a third time like a little asshole. And he gets it off the final time. Wow. By like a fraction of a second. Oh no! No, 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 good sir. I am not dealing with your ass, Zekvir.
You won't hit us with that one.
Ugh. He's gonna kill me, and I know it.
I cannot use that item yet. It is not ready yet.
Bro's just got too
I
much
am
health,
out of
and he's
range.
kind of trying to get me to aggro all the other creatures. This is like one of the worst delves I can think of that you could spawn Zekvir in.
They got
Okay, he actually went away. Surprising. So I managed to do enough damage to repel him. And it's funny because I had noticed he was just being ultra like asshole-ish this whole run, where it's like, oh, I'm on this pack, he pops up, he buffs them. I'm on the next pack, he pops up, he buffs them. So it felt like he was gonna ambush me this time. I'm surprised I managed to get away with that. Ooh, I'm very lucky that went wide. Very lucky. Okay, I have my invis back, so I could potentially skirt that whole group. I'd be between a rock and a hard place, but let's do it. No reason to continue to kill these assholes. Nobody here can see invisibility, so it gets. I don't have my get out of jail free card for another 2 minutes, but nothing wrong with that. That's a problem. Oh my god, it didn't actually pull them. Holy shit, it stopped just short. Wow. Wow. I am so fucking lucky. Chat, you have no idea how lucky I am.
That item is still recharging.
Okay, he's dead. Okay, looks like there were some bodies in there. So Bran is your like ally. He kind of sits here and helps you, but he's mostly only good at healing. His damage is a little bit suspect. Bran, stop. Bran, stop. Jesus Christ. I don't know what that was. My bro just started fucking yeeting damage out onto those things.
do them here.
Okay, so I got +1 life, which is pretty good considering I still haven't died. The end boss to this one's going to be a little bit spicy for me, because he's a boss that deals persistent AoE damage during certain points of the fight. And if there's one thing mages don't like, it's damage that they can't avoid.
I must get closer. Too far away.
I have to try and angle so that I don't aggro. And in case I shoot off an orb. That's why you see me holding my camera out this direction, so that I shoot the orb forward and not at them. Okay, you're kind of fucking me up. I'd appreciate that if you'd stop. Kill Brand's egg there, pop it out, get the dinosaur.
Come here and recover some of your mana.
Ooh, that was spicy. That was hella spicy. So it looks like they maybe just don't aggro.
I do not have a target.
Is that... Chat, does anyone know? Is that the case? Like, can I just kill them scot-free? Oh my god, all the repair kits I could ever want. Oh, that's actually what I'm supposed to be collecting. Never mind. I didn't realize this was actually the mechanic.
That's more like it.
I'm almost to the full season completion for Bran. Probably missed... Oh no, I didn't miss the one on the right.
Loads of forgotten knowledge are within our grasp.
It is not ready yet.
I don't know what that Shadows of Sea Tree or whatever it is that she's casting, but I don't want to know. I don't want to find out the hard way. Looks like it's already been looted. Weird. Okay, so there's a fearmonger there, which I can probably skirt the edge of. There we go. So I should just have to defeat the boss now. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's one of these puzzles. So you have to, like, untangle this, I think. My brain is not wired for this. God damn it. These two. There we go. God, that... My brain just could not freaking fathom that.
Nice find!
Hee. Ooh. Ooh, there's an asshole in there. I was gonna aggro him one way or the other. Because he was going to sleep, but I'm pretty sure if you get that close to him, he's just gonna aggro anyways.
I cannot use that item yet.
Okay. Oh my god, now he's in the fucking...
Your mana Take a break.
I need to wait on him to... Like, this is not close enough to run by him. He will aggro. So I need him to path back over here where he was before. I could invis it, but I'd prefer to save invis for the actual fight upcoming, since it's the actual boss battle. Unfortunately, this asshole's just making me wait, so... Can I have a 120 tonal eco? I have her mana loading unlocked. I have enough for a second append. Which one would you recommend? She the one that the fifth append is really good on? I feel like she is. Also, what the actual shit is this? You're gonna make me fight these?
I require a target.
Oh, bullshit game.
You got to dodge!
It is not ready yet.
Keep on near me!
So this is what I was talking about, the thing that does persistent damage. Oh, what am I doing? I have time warp!
That item is still recharging.
Oh my god, I'm like trapped in the fucking wall. Oh, fuck off, game! What the fuck? A one-shot? Ah, bro. I'm pissed. At least it took my time warp back off cooldown. That's ridiculous, though. Come on, stay over there.
cannot use
At least
that
this time
item
I get an
yet.
actual pull.
It is not ready yet. I need to target something first.
Yeah, there's no way he should have killed me. And what happened too is I was like running out here, and like the edge of this was like, hey, you totally hit the edge of a rock and you stutter stepped for a second. So you're still in it and you're dead. I'm like, that's so dumb. I should still get the max reward though. Because that was my only death and it was on a plus like amount of health. Okay, let's see. A bone carved circlet. 603. Critical strike and mastery. I mean, it wouldn't be bad if I had a mastery centric build, but I don't think any of the mage builds are. I wish some of the stuff was warband, because I would love to just like take it and put it on an alt. Because some stuff like rings can be annoying sometimes. Same thing with like trinkets and stuff. So it's like certain things I'm like, well, I know this isn't good for me, but it would be good on someone else. Whereas now instead it's just like, all right, disenchant. I'll never use this. Cool story. But yeah, that one wasn't too bad. I spent a long time in that one though, just because it was a very like extensive delve. What am I doing? Well, let's see. So I got 2 delves done for that. So now I have a 616 slot. So this is good because pretty much none of my gear. Okay, pretty much none of my gear is 616. So that's 619. That's 613, so it's less. My gloves were a raid drop. They're 616. My neck is... Oh, my chest is. I didn't realize that. Oh. I think the chest... No, sorry. The chest was a raid drop. The gloves, I'm pretty sure I got out of my my vault last week. Oh, and I have a 619, whatchamacallit? Weapon. That's actually... Okay. It's interesting. I'm actually a little bit better than what can currently be provided by a lot of the stuff then. So in that regard, then I probably need to be focusing a little bit more on like heroic raid and mythic dungeons, if that's the case. That's the only way my character's going to level up at any point.
I have many.
It's not that I can't get 616 items that that won't increase. Interesting. On the offhand, that won't increase the capability. It's that I would have to get lucky on the drops, essentially. I messed up on this fight with my hunter. Yeah, it's really rough because, like I said, he just deals consistent damage. So unless you have a way to block the damage or heal, you're just kind of foobar. And it's one of the things I am annoyed by playing mage, but it's just, as somebody that's played mage for like 7 years, it just is the way it is. Like, the game knows that you're an escape artist and have a ton of like shielding and self-preservation, so it's going to do everything in its power to get through that. And thankfully, like you see, like mage's main quality isn't just not getting hit. So I have something like Ice Cold here that literally reduces the damage I take by 70% and heals me for 25% of my maximum health over the duration. So it's gonna reduce the incoming damage and heal me for a quarter of my entire health bar. it's a very effective tool for staying alive, especially against hits that I shouldn't be taking. I'm just kind of debating because it's like I could do another delve, but the problem is if I try to do too many in one day, then the bountiful becomes terrible fucking delves. Like I haven't done very many of the delves in Hallowfall or Aj Kahet because most of the time, like if a delve is bountiful, most of the time I've been doing delves with people, and so we'll just sit there and trade who the leader is to keep doing the bountiful delve. And it really just makes it easy because you just keep getting more. Or none of us end up having enough restored coffer keys and it just ends up not being worth because of that. So in this case, I have enough restored coffer keys, but not really much else. So let's actually go see if I can do anything with my Valor Stones.
How fare you?
Like, for instance, can I upgrade that cloak? Not that one. Which one was it? That one? I can. Sweet. Cost me practically nothing. I mean, it cost me the Valor Stones, but now this is quite literally as good as my other cloak was / better. I end up with more haste and less versatility, but the same item level. At least point for point with what I was using. Probably means that I can disenchant that, but whatever. I lose out on so much money just trying to disenchant things. Yeah, I have a wand. This is what I currently have equipped. I don't really like the stats on that. Yeah, and then the Runed Harbinger Crest, I just don't have enough of these. I'm at 14 out of a required 15 to do it. Probably because I got some from one of the boxes there. You can see, even if I had the Valor Stones, basically I wouldn't be able to do much with it. That's not what I'm currently wearing. Is it? No, I'm wearing a 616 necklace. Same thing with that. That's also bad. Yeah, okay, so that can't be upgraded. I can upgrade this, but I kind of don't want to. It's sitting at 603, but it's like low-key, it's kind of a waste of my Valor Stones. I guess I will. There's really no harm in it until I get a better one, but I really need to get a better trinket than this. This is only like a B tier trinket for me. And the real problem I have with it is it's yet another use trinket. I don't like having 2 use trinkets because it becomes difficult to micromanage them. I prefer to have 1 use trinket and 1 like passive trinket that just, you know, can proc on its own. Because that's one of the annoyances of dealing with it is that like I have to sit there and find unique ways to like pop it. And so what I did is I actually macroed my 2 like more powerful cooldowns there to auto pop a trinket if it's available, so that way it'll just use it anyway, so that I'm not gonna have to worry too much about it. But the problem is the treacherous transmitter trinket that I have requires me to either find an orb, go stand on a pad, or jump 3 times in order to activate it. So it can be kind of annoying if I don't remember to pre-pop it. EU is back. Nice. Are you guys going through like maintenance or something? Oh, yo, there you go. More Valor Stones. That quite literally just gave me another 100. But same thing, I don't think I can do much with it. How many timed warp badges do I have? I almost have like 10,000. Holy shit. Which is interesting because I think last I checked, I have most of the stuff from the anniversary already done. We'll go check. I wish as a mage I had a teleport straight to Caverns of Time. Actually, I wonder. No, I don't think there's any place you can innkeep here, is there? Can I Hearthstone to this? I should have been doing that all along if I hadn't, because as a mage I never use my Hearthstone. Like I can teleport just about everywhere in the world. So if I can hearth here, that's actually going to be really funny.
My wrath flows freely.
I feel like there is an innkeeper.
You will not bury me again!
Get ready for the next mount.
They're not? Maybe there's not. It is considered an inn. And it even has a mailbox. But I guess there isn't one. Feels bad.
How may I aid you?
Yeah, I have 4 remaining. I have the hunter set, which looks ridiculous on this character. Mostly because of the feet, but it is what it is. This set just in general kind of looked weird back in the day. I felt like it was always meant to be worn more by like orcs and Tauren than anything else. There's the monk set. The monk set's probably the coolest of the ones remaining. The shaman set. I do like the shaman set though.
Get ready for the next
And
mount.
the warlock set. Those are the last 4 I have to buy. How do we get the old sets? You need these bronze celebration tokens, of which you're gonna get them from doing like quests and killing the world bosses that spawn around here. You'll have to get a group for these, but people do kill them fairly regularly on a regular basis. For instance, let me see if I can find one right now. You want to go to like pre-made groups, go down here to custom, hit find a group, and you'll usually find one that says like Doomwalker Shah Other, or Doomwalker Shah Arcavon, or again any of the others that that list it. Okay, so literally he's in progress already. He's almost done. You can also get like mounts that drop off these guys. So it's nothing big. They're just kind of world bosses, but each time you kill them at least once per day, you will get a bronze celebration token, or 3. I don't remember. I think it's at least 1, but I don't remember if it's up to 3. Didn't know about the mounts? Yeah, it's nice. There's a couple available. I've actually gotten 2 drops from it.
I require a target.
There you go. So I got 1. And you can do that once per day per character. However, what will end up happening is you'll eventually get to 100 tokens. After you get 100 tokens, it's any kill will get you 1 token. So basically, it becomes farmable. Same thing, there are time walking dungeons that you can do that will give them, as well as the missions. If you complete more of the missions after 100 or more of the time walking missions after 100, you'll always get them. So it's really, really nice. But yeah, it's kind of back-breaking to get to the first 100. The sets also cost, like the very first set you buy is going to cost you 60 tokens. Then the next set that you buy will cost you 40 tokens. And then from there on out, every remaining set that you buy only costs 20.
I cannot use that item yet.
Yes, yes!
That item is
Bring
still
your rage to
recharging.
bear. Try to
I don't know what someone just gave me, but they just fed me a quest. So it might have been to kill the world bosses. Oh shit, yeah. Timely gate crashers.
feed me with your anger.
You can see there's a little bit of lag here. Shaw, you also kind of got to watch out for because he can mind control you. and then your entire party will kill you.
Use that item yet.
With pleasure.
My fury is unleashed!
I need mana first.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that behind me, but he's got a huge loot table of stuff he can drop. They can also drop gear. It's like 587 gear usually.
Mana is needed.
Almost done with them. Nice.
My mana is low.
What am I doing?
It is not ready yet. I need mana first.
Feed me with your anger!
Not have a target.
Oh, there you go. So for instance, I just got these 590 pants to drop. I don't need them, but I got them. Again, I wish this was warband bound because I could just transfer it to a character who can use it. I do really like the Drakthir race, just being able to like... Oh, I'm mounted apparently. Even though I'm my own mount. All I have to do to activate Arcavon is you have to stand on these 4 pads that exist around him. I'm already on one, but apparently people aren't standing on the other. You don't even have to kill these enemies, is what's so stupid about this. Like, I can see this other person's doing it. They've figured it out. We need somebody to stand on the other one. And there you go. Somebody got it. Oh, so this one's the pad one.
That item is still recharging.
I'm surprised I haven't appeared on the leaderboard yet. I probably won't now. Because it means that people outbursted me in the opener. Probably due to all the ads at the beginning. Fun, I love getting interrupted.
I cannot use that item yet. My mana. That item is still recharging. Mana is needed.
Oh, I need to jump 3 times. Some of these new hero talents. Yeah, I've been leveling a hero, a hunter on the side. I used to have a max level 1 back in the day, but it's been a long time. Damn, just off the screen at 11. But yeah, so again, like that got me like 3 currency there for doing that. I also, again, like I said, had a chance at loot and mounts, and I get like 200 gold per kill of those suckers. So it's pretty nice. And I got 2 of the 3 required for my daily. Or my weekly, rather. But, yeah, it's like that's how you're going to get it, and you're going to accumulate it. It actually goes pretty fast because there's certain things that you can do to get, like, more clears. Like, there's a whole laundry list of things that'll give you the celebration tokens, including, let me see here. Like, if you do Raid Finder and you go into Queen's Fall here and you kill Queen Ansarek, that'll get you, like, 15 just for doing that. So, like,
What
it's a
do you
very,
see?
very nice reward.
Salama Ashalanore. Time is of the essence.
But no, yeah, that's basically how it all works. Chat, we're going to end it here for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me find somebody to love. Somebody who be on. I see Miss Ivy on. Let's go give her some love. Doing some just chatting. Okay. Like I said, tomorrow we have the live stream. I'll probably maybe work in some of the super recos as well on JP. Because again, FGO kind of chill at the moment. Just curious if there's like I'm sitting here thinking if there's anything else. I feel like there's something, but I'm forgetting it. So it is what it is. Anyways, go give Miss Ivy my love. I will see you guys tomorrow and have a good evening.